And we are back with our NBA playoff plays. And you know, we're doing this every single day of the NBA playoffs. We're having a blast doing it. If you like the material, comment. If you agree, if you disagree, I love the discourse. I also post my plays at the end, so stay tuned to the end and throughout the video, just to see, hey, hedge it, tail it, go for it. But let's start. We got two great games today. We got the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers, their game three. And we're going with the San Antonio Spurs and the Minnesota Timberwolves on their game three. And now injuries are starting to take their toll. It's starting to rear their ugly head. Is that the way of saying it? I think it is, right? They rear their ugly head. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So the New York Knicks, you're seeing Josh Hart pop up on the injury report. OG Anunoby, so he got that hamstring, same hamstring, always messing him up, man. OG has been killing this series. Now, if OG plays today, I don't know. Oh, Mitchell Robinson is looking like he's gonna play. He listed as probable. Obviously Joel Embiid is questionable, but he can't miss game three. That'd be crazy if he missed game three. But OG Anunoby, woo, he been killing. Honestly, I think OG Anunoby is the most important player for the New York Knicks this series. Not that he's the best player this series. Obviously, it's Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is the best. But OG's defense, Mikal Bridges' defense as well, but OG's defense and his ability to knock down the three ball, especially in awkward spots, and just mess up the entire, OG's threes have been super demoralizing for the 76ers. When they think they got it, you just get an OG three, oh no, the Knicks is still up, right? So that'd be a big hit. Hopefully, OG could play because I just want to see a great matchup. I ain't got a dog in the fight, but always want to see a good game. Hopefully Embiid plays. Depending on whether Embiid plays or not, that kind of changes how the plays work, right? Because those are two completely different teams, with Embiid or without Embiid, and how the Knicks will play against Embiid or not against Embiid. So big play, I'm gonna say Philly. If Embiid plays for sure. I don't think Philly goes down 3-0 is possible, but I don't think they go down 3-0. That'll be on the should list. Why? Because, we don't know if Embiid plays for sure and what he would look like, but I can't see him going down 3-0. I would say Cat is always an assist. Look out for Cat 6 assists at least. He's in a Sabonis role. Cat is basically the 2026 Sabonis when Mike Brown was coaching the Sacramento Kings. So those are free assists. Like I said, it's just better because he has a better jump shot. Best shooting big man of all time. And I'm a basketball historian. I'll tell you that Cat is definitely the best shooting big man of all time, and I love me some Dirk, right? But he's better as a shooter, right? He's a better shooter. With that being said, like I said, Cat 6 assists. Cat is always a triple-double threat. He should have got a triple-double last game if he wasn't in foul trouble. Look, he ended the game with 7 assists. If he played his full allotment of minutes, he definitely would have got the triple-double. I think he's a triple-double threat. Odds should be disgusting for a Cat triple-double, especially he's a center, and who knows, Mike Brown has only been using him in his role for, 6 games? But it is what it is. Joel Embiid, he plays. He's also a triple-double threat. I would say Joel Embiid should go for, he's a 6 assists or 30 points or both threat today, right? Actually, I would say 8 assists or 30-point threat. I think Joel Embiid, if he plays, he's going to be super dominant on an offensive end, either in a scoring capacity or passing or both. He's also a triple-double threat as well, so look out for him because there hasn't been a triple-double this series. So maybe he be the first one to get triple-double this series. Tyrese Maxey, he's always a rebounding threat, right? Tyrese Maxey for 5 rebounds, potentially 6. That can always sneak up on you. VJ Edgecombe, 6 rebounds. That's a should. He should be able to produce that. Paul George, that man is cold. He been doing his thing. I would say at least for 2 threes. 2 threes is a should for Paul George. And Jalen Brunson, depending on if Embiid plays. If Embiid plays, Jalen Brunson should be good for 30. If not, I would stay away from Jalen Brunson points. But that's pretty much what I got for that game. Moving on to the San Antonio Spurs and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Woo, that is a matchup. Injuries also matter too, because obviously, Ant is going to be questionable. He's coming off the bench doing things of that nature. Respect these players. They are troopers. They don't get enough credit for playing through injury. It's just tough, right? Because look, they got smacked in game 2. The Spurs defended their home court as they should have, especially after dropping game one. This is super duper tough. If I had to pick a winner, I would stay away from this game. I think the Philly game is more definitive. If Embiid plays, Philly should win that one. But this one is, I'll put in the could section. I would say the Minnesota Timberwolves could defend their home court. Io's on the injury report as well. That's a tricky one if you want to go, because at the end of the day, the Spurs still have to steal one game. I think the Spurs win this matchup just because N is hurt. I think the Spurs win this matchup, so they got to steal either game 3 or game 4. I can't see the Spurs going down 3-1. So this series should be tied 2-2 by the end of game 4. So whichever game, let's say the Spurs lose tonight, then they're definitely winning game 4. So this is a little where it gets a little bit tricky and adjustments start to matter. Also, the crowd matters as well. I would say props to look out for. Stephon Castle, he is very much surprising me when I'm picking him for 8-8. It's the foul trouble, too. It's really the foul trouble. He fouled out of 2 of his last 3 games. That's tough. That's always tough. He's always an 8-8 threat, though, right? He's always an 8-8 threat, so I got to put Stephon Castle as an 8-8 threat. Vassell, I would say, is a... He could get about 4 assists. That's a possibility. I would say possibility 4 assists. Wemby is a 5 blocks threat every single night this series because the Wolves do have attackers, drivers, so like you can count on some blocks on people like Julius Randle or an offensive inept guy like Rudy Gobert. We're all for the Rudy Gobert slander on this side. Wemby scoring, I would take Wemby under points. I would take the under for his points. So if his points is at 25, I would say under 25. Wouldn't count on that too much. The Wolves are doing a great job of making sure they limit Wemby's opportunities, kind of how the Lakers are limiting Shea's opportunities, even if they are able to be efficient. They're just making sure that they limit the opportunities that the guys have at free looks. So that's great. But I think the biggest thing to look forward to today would be just 2 really, really good games. I think the New York Knicks and the Sixers will be a really, really good game, and I think the Spurs and the Wolves, it won't be a blowout. This would be a really, really good NBA Friday just if you love basketball. So those are the plays for the day. Like I said, the Knicks, if you want to go straight up who you think is going to win, I would go to Sixers. Wolves and Spurs are interesting, but I would say let's go with the Timberwolves. And I'll just post my plays as I'm going through this. My plays will be right there on the screen. And remember, we're doing this every single day of the NBA playoffs. We love to get the plays. Comment if you agree. Love the participation. Comment if you disagree. You think I'm bugging and don't even know what I'm talking about. I love the back and forth, the Discord. I love to argue with you guys, right? That's one of my passions. One of my favorite things to do, just to debate sports, And always look out for my NBA trivia that I post. I love to do the NBA trivia. And we just do this for the love of the game, baby, and stay tuned for the next one. Hopefully the next one includes, Lakers beating the Thunder. All right, y'all, catch y'all.